going on, everyone? Back with another episode of Stuff and Things, and Happy New Year. As I'm filming this video, we are going into 2022. So today we're going to take a look at the wild ride that 2021 was. This is going to be just a recap of my life over the past year, and if you are new to the channel, this is going to be a good opportunity to basically see what I'm about, see what I'm into. We're gonna look back through almost every single video that I made, and this is sort of like a way for me to plan for the upcoming year. I'm gonna see the videos that I enjoyed making, some that I didn't enjoy making so much, and then I'm also gonna see what you guys actually viewed and what you liked and commented on. I'm gonna find the content that you guys engage with the most. That way I can sort of lay out a plan for the year to come. So with that being said, this is probably going to be a pretty long one, so kick back, relax, and let's dive right into it. So right after the new year, it looks like I went on a camping trip with my buddy Mike, aka Last Line of Defense, and this was right after I installed the lithium system in my van. We went camping in Colorado. It was super cold. I cooked dinner in the van, and overall it was a pretty good time. The power system worked great then, it is still working great now, and there's going to be a lot more adventures coming this year in the van as well. While we were out there, Mike and I also gave you guys an EDC update, so that was basically like what I was carrying during the winter time. And then I did a bunch of random videos. Benchmade hid a bunch of knives out in Colorado. I went and found them, and we did like a mini review of those new blade releases while we were sort of out there camping or hanging out in the van. I got some new cameras to test out, being the Insta360s. I've tested a bunch of different cameras from them, and I still continue to use them in my content today. It gives you a really cool way to edit the videos, and it just adds a little bit more creativity to everything that I'm doing. Then we got into an exciting video, Psy Productions. If you guys are not familiar with Psy Productions, it is a company that I technically formed in 2020 but didn't really operate using Psy Productions until this year. So Psy Productions is essentially my media and marketing company. It's what I do all of my like legit business through when it comes to making content for other people. I basically use all of the knowledge that I've gathered over the past about 5 years of making YouTube videos, and I'm able to help some other companies out. To go along with Psy Productions and Psy, the brand that it is, I released quite a lot of new products. If you haven't checked out psyproductions.com, I would really appreciate it if you guys did. I've been releasing products basically specific for the channel and for just being outdoors, hashtag the outdoor adventure culture. We've got t-shirts, long sleeve shirts, hoodies, rain jackets, quilted flannel jackets, hats, water bottles, patches, and just everything that I personally like to wear and use in my everyday life. I've been putting a ton of time, effort, and money into Psy as a brand, and so far it's been pretty great, but to be fully transparent, I'm putting more money into creating new products all the time than I'm actually selling and like getting that money back to put into more products. So if you guys like what you see here and you like some of the stuff over on the website, I would really appreciate the support. And if you see something you like and want to pick it up, let's do a discount code. Let's just do Psy 2022 for 10% off of everything on the website right now. In that video, I also got a new office space, which was great for the time being. I didn't plan on building a house, which I of course did later in the year. So I still have that office space, but I of course don't use it very much because I have this office right here. And we'll talk about more when we get to that. Then I went and did a little bit more traveling. I went and crossed off some more states from my list. I'm now up to 48 states that I've traveled to in the Sat van. And we went to North Dakota, South Dakota, and Nebraska all in one video. The weather was terrible. I went at a bad time of year. I know that. A lot of people were mad about this video because I was just like showing the reality of things and the reality that you face when you are traveling in a van and living in a van. So that's something that happened. I'll go back and visit those states maybe sometime in the summer. I then went out to Pennsylvania and picked up a Ford F-250 Tremor from Diamondback Covers and delivered that to my friend Mike, Last Line of Defense. I drove that thing cross country. I believe it took me like 32 hours because of the snow and ice once I got further out west. Kansas was brutal as always. And then I started to settle down a little bit more here in Colorado. Did some random day trips, just out kind of hiking around and shooting some videos with some friends of mine. We did some more EDC update videos, EDC under $100. That was a bunch of relatively cheap, inexpensive EDC gear, and I carried that stuff around for a little while just to test it out and make that video for you guys. And then we got into ski boarding. I made a video highlighting the difference of ski boarding or ski boards and snow blades or ski blades, whatever your other people call them. For a quick recap of that video, ski boarding and snowblading, not the same thing. People still make the mistake of using those terms interchangeably, but it's not the same. And then I went ski boarding for quite a few days this past winter. I rode all over Colorado. We had a pretty nice POW day out at Vail, and then I reviewed a chest pack from a company called Slope, and they're based out of Steamboat Springs. I did an EDC video of what I carry with me out there on the mountain, so that one was kind of fun. I then started modifying the van just a little bit more. We added some Backwoods Adventure Mods rear bumper and Pathfinder lighting, as well as an Owl Sherpa carrier where I have a shovel and some roto packs mounted up. I also added a Terrawagon snorkel to the van. I cut a big 4-inch hole in the side of the van, so that one was pretty fun. I then went up to Breckenridge to go ski boarding again with some friends of mine that were visiting, and we had a 500,000 subscriber party, so that was a huge milestone. I wish YouTube had me in their good graces again, that way the channel could grow like it has over the past 5 years, but if you've been following along closely, you will know that really hasn't been the ideal situation over the past year. Then I had my cousin come out to Colorado and visit me. He drove all the way out from Pennsylvania in a 4Runner, and him and I sort of like bounced around all the way back to the East Coast. We started in Colorado, we went out to Iowa, I believe was one of our stops. We made it up to Michigan, and then from there we sort of went our separate ways. I made my way through the Midwest, through Minnesota and Wisconsin. I tried Culver's for the first time, big Midwest staple right there. And I of course was ski boarding while I was up there. I learned a new trick, switch 270 on, pretzel 450 off, so that was fun. Hopefully I can learn some new tricks here in this coming season. I then went up to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, again in the wintertime. Not the greatest time to be there, but it was pretty cool to see. Snowmobiles everywhere, a lot of road closures, and I went across the big bridge, saw all the Great Lakes, and they were all basically frozen. Really cool sight to see if you've never seen that before. Travax released a new product known as the Travax Ration. This is sort of like a meal prep survival type of kit that you can leave in your car, fill it out with whatever you want, and I've used that quite a few times as I've been camping around the country this year. I then celebrated 2 years of van life. I now have had the van for almost 3 years, so I could probably do an updated video, 3 years of van life. And in that video, I just sort of answered questions about the van and just sort of like highlighted my journey over the past 2 years of living in the van. We started doing some maintenance to the van. If you guys own a Revel, then you can figure out how to actually rebuild the S-bar heating system in the van. That of course ties into the issue that I just recently fixed, and some people seem to really appreciate that stuff. Other van owners out there find a lot of good information on that, so although they don't get a lot of views, I'm probably going to continue making those videos in this coming year. Then some more reviews. We reviewed another Insta360 camera, an electric skateboard, some pocket knives, an artificial intelligence drone. That thing is now pretty damn cool. Still a little bit buggy here and there, but you have seen me use that in some of my content over the past year. More pocket knives, and then I started working on my relationship with Polaris. Polaris sent out the Razor Trail S, which is a new vehicle that they released this year, and they allowed me to test that out. So we took it up to a local place in Pennsylvania, got it super muddy, ripped around, and basically just tested out the vehicle, and it was a hell of a lot of fun. I continued to make more side-by-side content throughout the year, and it just doesn't seem like that may be what you guys are interested in. The videos are super fun to make, and I'm always like pretty proud of them because I put a lot of effort into them, but the views don't really reflect that, so I'm not sure how much side-by-side content I'll be bringing you guys this year, but it does fit with everything else that I'm doing, so we'll see about that. I then did a little bit of an office tour, the office that I'm really no longer using anymore, and I mentioned some of my issues that I've been having with YouTube. I was getting a ton of comments saying that my videos were not showing up in recommended, not even showing up in subscription boxes, that I had my channel and was posting videos but people were being unsubscribed from my channel, so there was a lot of like confusion and unknown stuff going on there. Still is happening, but it's not gonna stop me from making videos, and there's gonna be more on that in a little bit. I then made my way down to an event in Okeechobee, Florida known as Romp in the Swamp. This was put on by Caldwell, Crimson Trace, and some other AOB partners. This video did not do well. It only has 10,000 views, but it was such a fun time. I don't know if people are just not into hunting or what it was, but went hunting for gators. I got one of the smaller of the bunch because weather was just not cooperating, but it was still a hell of a good time, and I'm looking forward to hopefully doing some more stuff like that in the future. If you're into side-by-sides and hunting and all sorts of like Sunday Gunday related activities, you should definitely go check that video out. Just go to my channel and search gator hunting in Florida and it'll be the first thing that pops up. I then made it back to Colorado to show you guys my new personal side-by-side, which is the Polaris Razor Turbo S. And I went on a lot of adventures with this thing over the year, and hopefully I'll have even more coming this year. I did do a few modifications to that too, and I'm just sort of like waiting for the right time. I gotta get the right group of friends together because ripping around in a Razor is fun, but it's a lot more fun when you have other people there doing it with you. Then moving right along, I did a video about towing the Razor with the Sprinter, and that one was pretty interesting. It does pretty damn well, especially with all the modifications that I've done to the Sprinter van. Could tow it with my truck, but I think the van is just like the perfect setup when you're going out wheeling in a side-by-side. Then we got into some more reviews, electric bicycles, electric skateboards, some EDC pocket tools, some of those that I keep in my van and use quite frequently, more Insta360 cameras, and then I got back on the road again. I took the van out to Utah. I've been to Utah a lot this year, and I went and visited the Ratfink Museum with my friends Zach and Jamie, who were previously at Blade HQ. From there, I also went down to Bryce Canyon National Park. That's one that I skipped on my first time through there, so it was great to cross that off of my list. And then from there, I went down to Zion National Park, which I've been to a few times now. Did a new hike, super scenic. That was such a sick hike, even though it was super hot. From there, I made my way down to Nevada, went to Las Vegas, and hung out with my buddy Roger, where I got to drive his Tesla for the first time. Never driven an electric vehicle like that before, and damn is it sweet. It's not fitting for my life right now, but in the future I will definitely own an electric vehicle because I'm into all of these other personal electric vehicles like one wheels, electric skateboards, electric bikes, and things like that. It just makes sense, so I'm excited for that. I then did a video, and I sort of messed this one up. I did a video on my podcasting setup. So speaking of that, when I look at the DK Pod, brought it back with the video element this time, and I tried to do as many as I could. We did them pretty consistently for a few weeks there, and then I started traveling, so it fell off a little bit, but still have all my equipment and everything. There are 15 new episodes of the Dropping Knowledge podcast, so if you guys didn't know, I have a podcast, and you can go check that out. Got a bunch of different guests, some of my close friends, high school friends, YouTube friends. There's a lot of good stuff over there. So I made a video on my podcasting setup, and right after it went live, I don't know if I was like pressing buttons on my phone in my pocket, but the video went unlisted, so it removed itself from everyone's sub boxes, and because of that, the video got like almost no views. Maybe it's just something that no one's really interested in, but I know I made that mistake, so I privatized the video right after it went live, which means no one could watch it, and then by the time I realized it, I made it public again, and there was probably like a day of videos in between there. So if you're curious about my podcast setup, microphones, how I record everything and film, whatnot, you can check that stuff out, and that's on my channel right now. I then made my way down to Phoenix, Arizona, where I got a new AC unit for the van, which has been super helpful this past summer. And then in the very next video, I released the TS-19 barrels. They are Glock 19 barrels that I had the ability to design, Danger Close Armament. My friends over there made it come to life, and those are still available now. We have some titanium nitride coated ones and some black DLC coated versions. Then got into some more reviews. Some new packs came out from Vertex. Still love the EDC backpack. I use that thing pretty frequently. And then I released this guy right here, which I was hinting at for the longest time, the Travax Talon. These sold out almost immediately, but occasionally they do come back in stock. So if you want to find out more information on these, check out the video. And then over on Travax's website, you can find an email notification list to sign up for. The next video was a review of my 2022 Honda Ruckus, and in that video I basically explained why I got it, basically to just like putt around town on. Have some plans to modify it, have not done it yet because I have gotten quite a few new vehicles to showcase here on the channel. But in that video I mentioned that I was buying or building a house in Colorado. So this entire past year I basically have been living in Colorado, but it is official now because we are in the new house. This is where you guys see my home office, and this is where I have the Psy garage. So all my vehicle modifications and stuff like that take place out in the garage, and there's gonna be a lot more of that coming this year because it's something that I'm interested in, and a lot of those videos do pretty well too, so I'm sure you guys are stoked on some of the things that are gonna be coming out this year. I then went camping with my friends Will and Courtney and gave a little bit of a walk around of their ProMaster van that they're building out. That was a super fun trip. Mountain lakes, hiking, all that good stuff. Jumped right into a summer EDC loadout, and then my 2022 Honda Grom finally came in. So I did a first ride impression video of the new Honda Grom, higher compression ratio, they added a 5th gear, new styling. I love the Grom, and I did a bunch of videos on that. So I did some modifications like bars and mirrors and basically everything. I completely built up the Grom. I also got that thing wrapped to match the Sat van because I was traveling around with that on a hitch carrier on the back to some expos this year. I also did a camping trip again with Mike in his newest van. He had a Jayco Swift, I believe is the name of it. So that was built on a ProMaster and brought Mike over to the dark side of van life. Then in the summer I was riding a lot of motorcycles, so I did a little bit of a canyon run on my 2020 Ninja ZX-10R. I don't even have the bike anymore, but loved that bike. That thing was super fast and it just wasn't fitting my lifestyle anymore, so eventually I got rid of that. And then some more traveling. Ashley and I got in the van and we went out to Durango for the Revel Rally, which was basically like a big van meetup. Did a lot of cool stuff out there. I hid a box, like a $500 box full of knives and sharpeners and all sorts of stuff in collaboration with Worksharp knife sharpeners. Just after posting that video, whoever out there found it immediately. It was like 7 hours after I posted the video. I guess I should have done a little bit better of a job of like hiding my location, so congrats to whoever found that. If I ever have a scavenger hunt like that on the channel in the future, then I'm definitely gonna have to hide it a little bit more difficult. Ashley and I then went from Colorado to Four Corners, so we went to New Mexico, we went to Arizona, and then we went up to Utah, where we ended up in Moab. I've been to Moab a lot this year. When we got there, we had the Grom with, and we did a lot of off-roading on the Grom. 2 up through Canyonlands National Park. That's a video that I was super proud of. It was just such an awesome time. It's a trail that I've been on before in the van, and I've made a video of taking the van on that trail, but on the Grom it was just a whole different experience. So you guys should definitely check that one out too. We did the same thing the next day through Arches National Park, and then we went off-roading out sort of like a back exit way through some BLM land. We went to a dinosaur museum in Fruita, Colorado. Ashley loves dinosaurs. And then I got back home to Colorado for some more reviews. Talked about some of my favorite tactical pants. When it comes to like gear and EDC reviews, a lot of guys are sort of obsessive about pants, which makes sense to me. I mean, pants are like the vehicle for carrying all of your gear on you, so I gave you guys some pant recommendations in that video. I then made a video about Hanna Manufacturing, which is really sort of like forward thinking. It's a really cool project put on by my buddy Mark King, and I personally backed that whole project. So if you're into like manufacturing and the future of jobs in America, you should check that video out. I then did get rid of the Ninja ZX-10 and picked up the Husky 701 Supermoto. Still love this bike. I unfortunately have a nail that went through the tire then out the sidewall, so that's why you guys haven't seen many videos of that this summer. I've been super busy as well, but I will be replacing that tire hopefully soon, and then in the springtime there's gonna be a ton of motorcycle, truck, van videos, just sort of exploring the world by vehicle. I then gave some tips about living in a van and how to basically set up your AC and power system, because I've been using my AC quite a lot at this point. So if you're into the van life, give those videos a watch. And then right after that, I bought my Tacoma. I brought Mike over to the dark side for van life, then he brought me over to the other side for the more serious, like hardcore overlanding life. So I picked up the new Tacoma, you guys know all about that, and there's a lot of videos to follow. I then made it down to Arizona for an event that I was filming over on the Sunday Gunday channel, and I went mountain biking, did like 30 miles in 100-degree weather. It was brutal. Speaking of Sunday Gunday though, how many videos do we have over there this year? We have about 16 new videos over on the channel youtube.com/SundayGunday. A lot of people think that I just like abandon making all of that content and it's just people who are uninformed and don't watch all of my videos. I mentioned on numerous occasions that I'm still making videos over there. There's gonna be a lot more even coming this year. I'm probably going to double, maybe even triple that number this year. It's not quite as consistent as before because it's not really where my interest is at right now, but it's still content that I enjoy making. So if you're not subscribed over there, what are you doing? Then I made it back to Colorado, picked up my truck after getting the fresh wrap job from my buddy Jake at Lucid Wraps, immediately got back in the van and went back to Arizona. I went to Arizona like 3 different times in a row. So I went to the Overland Expo. I went to the one in Loveland, which I don't think I actually made a video of that, but I included some clips in this video. So Overland Expo Loveland, Overland Expo West in Flagstaff, Arizona. Great time, got some great connections to help build out the truck, and then I came back home for another motorcycle. Not really a motorcycle, but an electric dirt bike, the Sur-Ron X. I did only 2 videos with the Sur-Ron because it was only 2 months ago and it started getting colder here in Colorado. So now I have the Husky, the Grom, the Ruckus, the Sur-Ron, and the truck, and like all of this stuff to make content on, but weather permitting, of course. So you guys are gonna see a lot of 2-wheel content coming up here in the future. Then some truck modification videos, covered my Diamondback truck cover. Big sponsor of the Tacoma build, and I can't thank those guys enough. The build was underway. We did suspension, wheels, and tires, and then I took the truck down to another expo in Arkansas. We went to Rendezvous in the Ozarks, hung out with some old friends of mine, and we even slept underneath the Diamondback cover, which was pretty interesting. I then took the truck wheeling for the first time, which was a hell of a good time. Got the truck dirty, tested out the new suspension, the wheel and tire setup, and I basically was just like gathering information in my head all day about what I want to do to the truck to make it even more capable, more suited for my needs of what I want to do. While I was down there in Arkansas, we did front and rear bumpers, lighting, we did a winch from Warn. And if you want to find out more information on any of my vehicle builds, my motorcycles, the van, or the truck, check out psyproductions.com/psygarage. I also have an Instagram account specific for that page. You can find build sheets, specs, pricing, and everything about all my vehicles over there on my website. We did a Sur-Ron distance test. We got a new one wheel this year. That's exciting. I've been wanting a new one wheel for a long time, and they released the Pint X, which I got right on the day of release, and we tested that thing out. I rode about 19 miles on a board the size of the original Pint, which is pretty crazy. They did release the GT too, which I do not have yet. I would like it so I could test it out a little bit more. Crazy range on that. Thing's gonna be a trail beast, so hopefully this coming year I'll be able to get my feet on top of a GT. Then some more Honda Grom mods, performance mods. So I did a Chimera intake, I did a Chimera quick twist throttle tube, I installed a new camshaft in the Grom. I really like working on motorcycles. When it comes to my other vehicles like the van and the truck, I would honestly rather pay someone for big projects like that just because it is a lot of time and I don't have all the time in the world because I'm doing a million things at once. But motorcycles, big passion of mine, so I really like working on all of that stuff. Then went to another event back in Moab, Utah. Again, one of my favorite places, actually my favorite place, hands down in the country. Went to an event put on by Wheeler Tools, and I'm gonna be working with them a bunch this year. The event was known as Boulders and Bullets. This video is just like the gator hunting video down in Okeechobee, Okeechobee, Florida. This was such a fun video. Side-by-sides, kind of living out of the van, shooting guns, doing all sorts of stuff. There's a video on my main channel and over on the Sunday Gunday channel. Put the RZR to the test hardcore. It was super fun and it got almost no views. Only 13,000 views on that one. Maybe because it was longer than my average videos. It's 38 minutes long, but man, I really like that video and I hope more people end up watching it. The video right after that was another shorter video because I thought maybe the first one was too long, and we went and ripped the RZR on Fins and Things, a famous trail in Moab. Again, like no views, 7,100 views as I'm watching this right now, which doesn't make sense to me. I don't know, maybe it's a shadow ban thing, maybe people hate me, maybe people don't like side-by-sides, I don't know. Go watch those two videos though, because I really enjoyed those. I then did a review on some lockdown security products and we did a giveaway. So gave away a couple $100 worth of products over there, and I'm gonna be working with Lockdown on a big project here in the future, so I'm excited to share that one with you guys in the coming year. Tacoma build part 3, performance modifications. We did a ton of stuff. If you guys are interested, just go watch that video. And then some more reviews, an electric bike, some toolkits from Step 22, which I have in almost all of my vehicles now. And then a project that I'm super proud of, and I'm excited to be working on this continuously, like now through the new year. There's gonna be a lot of cool stuff coming out between myself and Two Feathers Productions. We released the Two Feathers Psy Productions mini workhorse. This is an EDC fixed blade that I sort of designed myself. I took another design of this blade right here, the full-size workhorse from Two Feathers Productions, and just sort of downscaled it to be more EDC friendly. So we basically closed out the books. Ryan closed his books over at Two Feathers because the influx of orders was just insane. We got almost like 200 orders in the first like week or so. So he had to close his books for now, but these will be coming back in stock soon, and I'm going to bring you guys a video of that stuff like next week, actually, maybe even this week. And I'm gonna give you a detailed look of how he makes these blades. I even tried my hand at making some blades myself. Got a lot of really cool stuff. I really want to tell you this one thing, but I can't right now. So yeah, stoked on the mini workhorse. I then did a quick camping trip in Colorado for the first time in the truck, rooftop tents. We had some great food. Mike was there, Jason Overland Eats was there, Philip was there. It was a hell of a good time. And then I started putting the finishing touches on the Tacoma. There are some more finishing touches still going on the Tacoma, but like the big parts of the build series are pretty much done at this point. Just gonna fine tune some things, bring you guys some dedicated reviews on specific components and pieces of gear that I've added to the truck. There's gonna be a lot of that over this year. And then we're gonna start using the truck, using and abusing. I'm excited to travel around this year in the truck. Then brought you guys a winter EDC update. Those are sort of few and far between recently because my gear doesn't change all that much anymore. Ashley and I went camping in the Sat van and I broke it. Had a big water leak issue in the van, so then 2 videos after that, we went and fixed it. That was a big lesson learned for anyone who is in the van life, building a van, living in a van, traveling, whatever it may be. If you got plumbing in a vehicle, you should probably watch that video. Did another quick review of one of my favorite knife sharpeners, again coming from Worksharp. Super affordable, easy to recommend, easy to set up, and you can put a pretty good edge on a blade. And that brings us to today. So that was a hell of a year. There's some things in there that I kind of like forgot about, and I remembered now, oh yeah, I did that this year. That was kind of wild. It seems like so long ago. So after looking through all of my videos and sort of thinking about things out loud for my other 2 channels, Sunday Gunday, definitely gonna be more content on there this coming year, so go subscribe to that. As far as the podcast goes, that's a little bit harder for me to make content on because I need like a good guest. I could sit down in front of a camera and do it myself, but I feel like that would be boring and I would run out of topics. So hopefully we'll add some more episodes over there throughout this coming year. And then for the main channel, definitely trending towards like the whole vehicle thing. Now that I have a house and a garage, I can bring you guys more modification videos on the van, all the motorcycles, all of the electric rideables, the Tacoma, basically just everything. It's what I'm passionate about doing right now, so that's kind of where things are going to trend this coming year. Still going to be a bunch of gear and tech reviews just sort of mixed in there, some instructional how-to modification videos, and I think that is where Psy Productions is going to be headed into 2022. Now, if you've made it to the end of this video, I would really appreciate it if you guys left a like, left a comment. Comments are super crucial. I still, to this day, read every single comment that comes in, so let me know what you guys want to see more of here on the main channel. Do you want to see more Tacoma stuff? Do you want to see more motorcycle stuff? Do you have any ideas of places to travel to in the van or the Tacoma? Whatever it may be, I am just really thankful that you guys are still here after 5 years of me making YouTube videos. I'm thankful that you guys are still here watching, so I wouldn't be able to do this without all of you. That is going to be all for today and this year of 2021. I am really excited to see what 2022 is going to bring. So if you're new to the channel, consider clicking subscribe. I make new videos every single week. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys next year.